Nine Worlds is a no-weapon zone, strictly enforced since the riots.
So you want me to disarm in the middle of a war zone?
No, you've just got to consent to the standard deactivation procedure before entry. I'll transmit the encrypted safety lock bytecode, which will effectively freeze all your weapons. Sensors at the exit will automatically reactivate everything you're carrying when you leave.
Here you go.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on in.
Alex D. A welcome encounter.
How's the search coming?
I've made some discoveries. I think that you've brought me to the right place.
What's the passenger's name?
My instructions forbid me to say.
Maybe I could help if I knew who it was.
You've been very helpful already. My computer analyzed the transceiver in your temporal bone and found some interesting data files.
Those are encrypted files.
I found the key some time ago. I will be using your eyes and ears to gather more data. As compensation, if you need a pilot for any reason, I will be available.
I'll check back when I need a pilot.
Alex D., you're the last one to arrive. I suppose that, like the others, you're after my laboratory in the gateway to J.C. Denton.
You're Tracer Tong.
I see that Dr. Nassif didn't exaggerate about your mental acuity. Yes, I'm Tong. I suppose you will be wanting some answers. You may have already guessed that your true name is Alex Denton.
Dr. Nassif was telling the truth. I'm a clone of J.C. Denton.
With a few postnatal recombinations, yes. But our work has moved away from clones.
So this gateway, I can use it to find J.C. Denton?
Yes. Beneath the ruins of the Black Gate, JC constructed a portal to his secret base in Antarctica. Only descendants of the Denton cell line can go through. However, the facility is already in the hands of the Templars.
Did the Templars use the portal? How could they unless one of the other trainees?
Unless the Templars have already convinced one of you to go through the gate and murder JC. Exactly. At a minimum, they have a highly placed spy who has torn apart our organization, starting with Chicago.
What else do you know about this spy?
Whoever it is also helped the Templars kidnap Her Holiness during a meeting with the Panzerworks Union. They are holding her at the Blackgate Laboratory. I'm going to give you a code to a secret entrance, which is in a room on the second floor of the East Tower, 2521. Look for a keypad hidden behind some crates.
For all you know, I'm a Templar myself.
Then Apostle Corps has already lost everything. Rescue Her Holiness. Save the summit for the sake of both factions. They will help you against the Templars. You will need the help of the WTO in order just a little while longer.
I understand.
Here's something to give you an edge. A biomod infusion. It isn't much, but it's all I managed to grab on my way out of the laboratory.
I found Her Holiness. Turns out she's Nicolette Duclair, an Illuminatus.
Of course she is. That was my precise purpose in sending you to save her, so that you would believe me when I say that we face a great danger. The Illuminati have been very successful at reshaping the post-collapse world. Control of our technology would allow them to create a hand-picked ruling elite.
How can they simultaneously support the ideals of the Order and the commercialism of the WTO?
The Illuminati have always sought just one thing: centralization. Centralization of wealth, power, and ideology. The implementation details aren't important.
So they centralize wealth with the WTO, and ideology with the Order. What about power?
That they hope to get from us. Work with our charming co-conspirators just a little while longer. When you have the sequencing module for the gate, you'll be free to contact JC on your own. Extraordinary times, my young friend. We are about to see the rebirth of global civilization. What form it takes will shape human history for centuries. JC's vision 2 decades ago was far ahead of our means to implement it. But that is about to change.
My feet are killing me.
The Templars are one step ahead of us, but not for long. Repair the gate with the sequencing module. Find your long-lost older brother on the other side, then wait for my orders.
Come to the tavern. I have more to tell you about JC's condition and why you are so important.
Remember my advice, Alex. You will need it.
Onward, order, soldier.
When you go to Antarctica and find JC, remember what hangs in the balance. I haven't told you just how powerful JC has become.
One of the other trainees, Billy Adams, has already gone through the gate.
She has signed her soul over to the Luddites, the haters of technology. Protect JC, or she could plunge the world into another dark age. Trust me, I was like her 20 years ago, and I still share some of the blame for triggering the collapse.
I thought you said JC was powerful.
He is, but the merger with the Helios AI has been problematic. He has fallen into a state of near catatonia and will be vulnerable until you can revive him.
How do I do that?
By transferring your biomod architecture to JC, you will complete his interface to the AI and bring him out of the coma. This is a job we intended for Paul, but now it falls on your shoulders.
Paul Denton?
He too is helpless and in need of our new systems. We thought we had the infusions perfected 3 years ago, but his body rejected them violently. He had to be cryogenically frozen until we could finish the design.
The leader of the Cairo facility, captured by the Templars.
Exactly. JC will tell you more. Please, don't delay. Every passing minute brings your friend Billy one step closer to murdering the only sincere leader humanity has ever had. I never imagined that all 4 of our facilities would be compromised at once. Extraordinary times, my young friend.
Please, speak with me. I can expect yet more deviation from the plan. Paul was to arrive with the key, bringing the perfected genetic code. JC was to awaken to greet the new age. Instead, that woman came, followed soon after by the hateful ones. Where is Paul? What is going on?
I'll bet that your intruders are Billy Adams, along with some Templar backup. After that, I have no idea what you're talking about.
When JC arrived, so many years ago, and the Versalite base fell silent, he took care of us. In return, we would maintain his habitat while he slept, and await Apostle's masterpiece. Paul was to accompany the key, but instead 2 keys have arrived, and Paul remains nowhere.
So we're the keys. The gate must use some sort of DNA fingerprinting, and since both Billy and I have Denton genetic code, we were able to use it. It was never about the training, was it? They were just perfecting the DNA.
And the gate has only brought us destruction. The hateful ones threaten, capture, and murder us. We can neither fulfill our duties to JC, nor can we get to his habitat to awaken him.
Why would the Templars bother with capture? I hate to be so blunt, but it seems that elimination would make more sense.
It is not clear. It seems they are trying to learn more about us, but in gravely vicious ways. Right now, there is one of our number in captivity. If you could help him reach this location, it would mean a great deal to us.
What do you mean by JC's habitat?
When he came to us, he made the earth move according to whim. He sculpted a habitat for himself, near to our colony on the ice.
And your people?
We maintain the habitat for him while he struggles to assimilate the Helios entity, the artificial intelligence with which he joined. The merger gave him great power, but also threatened him with madness. He sleeps now to heal.
So you're a part of VersaLife? I thought that corporation folded during the collapse. Quite a few people believe they actually caused it, in fact.
VersaLife established an outpost here and set us on the ice to test our reactions to extreme conditions. We were the next generation of a project launched in Roswell. We were to be unstoppable ground troops, unfazed by cold or radiation. In other cases, our DNA was to be harvested to create biomodifications for humans, so that they could survive the aftermath of a nuclear war.
So you're fully engineered transgenics, not aliens. That was just a cover story for a Cold War research project. But there aren't very many of you, hardly an army.
To prevent us from overpowering our masters by sheer numbers, we were created unable to reproduce.
Now I understand.
Versalife abandoned their base, but JC ensured that we would be safe. The hateful ones have upset this balance.
I might be able to restore your security. Have the Templars, I mean the hateful ones, caused any other trouble for you since their arrival?
They have set up camp not far from here and prevent us from leaving. We suspect they are trying to gain entrance to JC's habitat.
I don't know much about your kind, but you seem far more articulate than an ordinary Grey.
We were not all engineered the same. Different strains had different purposes. Some are more verbally adept, others made for battle, and others made as leaders. JC's arrival only amplified these differences. His presence has changed us all. So much outside the plan. It must be set right.
Perhaps you fear that you will inadvertently do the bidding of the Illuminati. Have patience. Nothing will be the same once you have revived J.C. Denton. Welcome to Antarctica, J.C.'s sanctuary for 20 years.
Why do you persist? Tong, Dumier, Her Holiness, they're all fools. Do you really understand what they're asking you to do? Go to Tent 04 and I'll contact you there.
Become quite clear the captured Grey that their leader was talking about. Save the poor creature, or the Templars will vivisect him to learn about the Grey's vulnerabilities.
What do you require?
Find your way home.
Listen, I don't know exactly what they've all told you, but you're just a pawn. And reviving an ancient mad cyborg isn't gonna help anyone.
And you found that the Templars are a sane and reasonable employer?
Lesser of the evils offered at this point. The other entities all want you to revive the man responsible for the collapse. What good can that possibly accomplish? Apostle Corps wants to worship him, and the Illuminati wants to try to control him.
And what would you propose?
The only safe way to deal with such dangerous power and such an unstable individual is to destroy him. It's the only way.
That's an interesting viewpoint, especially since JC's work made us both what we are today.
That hardly matters in the grand scheme of things. You can try, but you're not going to be able to stop me from repurposing the Helios core for more beneficial purposes.
Yes. This way.
To revive JC, you'll have to repair Helios' 5 processing modules with an infusion of your biomod architecture. Prepare yourself for the unexpected, Alex. JC is conscious, but trapped in a struggle with the Helios AI. His memory is so intermingled with the AI that echoes of his former life are embedded in the very construction of this sanctuary.
Alex Denton, welcome to your brother's sanctuary. My assignment is to answer your questions and provide transportation.
It's getting to be quite a crowd down here for an impregnable fortress. You were looking for J.C. Denton too?
I left Hong Kong in 2052 with instructions to search for J.C. Denton near Groom Lake in Nevada. I am an AI construct developed by Tracer Tong. My instructions were not to stop looking until I was certain that Mr. Denton was safe.
He isn't exactly safe with my former classmate Billy Adams skulking around. She went over to the Templars.
Billy Adams must be destroyed. If she damages the Helios core, she will destroy JC's mind.
She always was a prankster.
When you have eliminated the threat and spoken to JC, Go outside to the abandoned VersaLife base. You will need to turn on the pilot beacon so that I can land safely and take you to your next destination.
Look at this funhouse. I guess it's some sort of architectural photo album. This room is from Hong Kong, where JC Denton went into hiding for a while. Talk about ego. Is this what you want to bring about? The whole world recreated in his image?
The other key is already here. It is time to awaken JC, but we fear she is here to prevent it and to harm him. You must stop her, and you must revive him.
But how?
Upon the arrival of the key, JC was to be awakened to welcome the perfected genetic code. Then he and Paul were to share it with the world. Now there is much unexpected violence, but we will proceed according to the original plan.
What needs to be done?
Activate the nodes, reconnect him with the waking. But beware, the other key has made her own plans.
What do you mean?
She has machines, weapons. She has hate. She intends to destroy JC and all who stand in her way. Do not let this come to pass.
What is this place anyway?
This is JC's habitat. He came to Antarctica seeking peace. In turmoil from the merger with the artificial intelligence Helios, he constructed this place with his mind, using his new power over materials. The habitat erupted from the landscape, a living technological building infused with his psyche. JC must be awakened. She brings destruction with her. I hope you can end it.
Excellent work, Alex. Repair this Tower of Babel, and just when the king reaches out to touch the sky, we will be there to snatch his hand away.
JC sleeps unsafe. She moves to destroy JC. We do not understand this violence against her own kind. She bears many tools and much anger. She moves freely toward her goal.
Thanks for doing all the hard work finding the way in here. All I had to do was follow in your footsteps, and now I'm just minutes away from completing my objective.
Just walk away, Billy. I'm here to awaken JC.
Don't let Apostle Corps or the Illuminati use you as a pawn. One wants to worship JC, and the other wants to try to control him. Neither group can see he's too mad and too powerful for either. I'm going to destroy him while he's still weak. The only sane answer.
I can't let you do that. I'm going to take you down, but I'll try to leave you breathing. I don't want to kill you, Billy.
So this is how it ends? Okay, I'm ready, but I don't think you are. You may have dealt with SSC, or even armored Templars before, but you've never taken on a true equal, or a friend. But I guess you're just as crazy as the rest of them. Another threat to be neutralized. It's over, Alex. I'm reduced to a pest exterminator. That almost hurt. Now you've really upset me.
My scientists succeeded. You were the complete solution. My brother Paul was to be upgraded first so that he could carry the infusions through the gate, but there was a setback.
You're really J.C. Denton. What happened to your brother?
He nearly died 2 years ago. My chief scientist, Tracer Tong, thought that he'd perfected the biomod substrate, but there were recombinant anomalies in Paul. He had to be cryogenically frozen to save his life. Luckily, you and the other subjects at last accepted complete transformation.
Which is why we can pass through the gate and enter this place.
That, and much more. We're now ready to transform the human race. It became clear to me after the defeat of MJ-12 that the old answers to tyranny are inadequate. I needed the Helios merger in order to contemplate the problem effectively.
And?
I'm going to establish the first post-human civilization, and you're my first citizen. Welcome.
A new civilization? That's a pretty tall order. What do you need from me?
I need you to return to Cairo to rescue my brother Paul, who was seized by the Templars. Then meet me at Liberty Island, where in the ruins of an old military base there is an Aquinas node that can be used to distribute the infusion technology worldwide.
Tell me more about this post-human civilization.
Before the disruptions, Helios and I had many months of productive thought. Up to now, all free societies have started with one premise. Human nature is cruel, unjust, a force to be controlled.
I follow you so far.
The separation of powers, from Aristotle to Montesquieu, is designed purely to thwart the ambitions of individuals. How comical the West pride in its vast tangle of agencies, jurisdictions, arcane procedures.
What's the alternative?
Address the flaws in human nature. Make all beings truly equal in both body and mind. If you start with minds that are lucid, knowledgeable, and emotionally sound, the needs of government change dramatically.
How do you control human emotions? Antidepressants? Is that freedom?
Is it freedom when one child is born to poverty, a chance combination of organic materials, while the wealthy child is shaped every day of his life, enhanced genetically, trained, educated, often augmented nanotechnologically?
Why not get rid of nanotech and genetic engineering, the technologies that make people different from each other?
Then you go down the path of intolerance as your friend Billy did. Is human nature perfect? No. Therefore, improvements are to be welcomed, not annihilated in Templar pogroms. As enhanced beings, we can establish a pure democracy that runs on instantaneous input from the electorate.
What would this pure democracy look like?
The Helios AI has the processing power to handle all governmental functions worldwide, legislative, executive, and judicial. Once every mind has been enhanced and can merge with the AI, attitudes towards major legislation can be processed on a daily or even more frequent basis.
You want everyone to be like the Omar and meld themselves together into one huge AI construct?
Helios will communicate, not assimilate. Life will go on as usual.
Helios is starting to sound like an enlightened despot.
All governments have power. The benefit of giving this power to a synthetic intellect is that human affairs would no longer need to be ruled by generalities. Helios will have a deep understanding of every person's life and opinions.
What if I don't want someone peeking into my mind?
Upon consideration, you'll see that this arrangement is for the best. General ideas are no proof of the strength, but rather of the insufficiency of the human intellect. The words of Alexis de Tocqueville, an observer of the birth of modern democracy. Though general ideas allow human minds to make judgments quickly, they are necessarily incomplete.
So?
So de Tocqueville noted that an all-knowing mind, the mind of God as he conceived it, would have no need for general ideas. It would understand every individual in detail and at a glance. Incomplete applications of law or justice would be impossible for such a mind.
So you see yourself as a god?
I want human affairs to be driven by wisdom. Finding the correct recipe for wisdom has been my project these long years under the ice.
You seem to think you've succeeded.
Wisdom must first be human. You must start with what a human sees and feels. But wisdom must also be knowledgeable, logical, and fair to billions of other beings.
How much of you is a machine?
Helios and I are one consciousness. No distinction is possible.
You expect 10 billion people to submit to the rule of a software construct? What if some of them resist?
The people will welcome true equality. Help me, Alex. You've come this far toward restoring Apostle Corps. Finish the job by rescuing my brother from the Templars in Cairo.
I'll leave for Cairo as soon as I can.
A helicopter followed you here. Tracer Tong sent it to pick me up from Area 51 after my infiltration of MJ-12. Ava Johnson was the pilot, an AI construct. I'm putting her at your disposal. Go back to the surface and activate the pilot beacon at the abandoned VersaLife base so that she will know where to land.
Alex Denton. How does it feel to share such an equal's name? Don't be deluded by the AI's ingenuity. Your brother JC has long since been devoured by the Helios core, and if you revive Paul, you will be reviving a sworn terrorist. There is a better way. More when you reach Cairo.
You have been deceived, tired pilgrim. I destroyed the entire city of Chicago because the threat from Apostle Corps warranted such desperate tactics. Come to the holocron in Denton-04. It's time you learn the truth about your past.
So you gave the order to destroy my hometown.
By now, you will have been told that you are the third Denton prototype. That isn't quite true, or I wouldn't have been willing to destroy an entire city to kill you.
This better be good.
Unlike the first Dentons, who were straight clones of an ideal individual, you were, how do I put it, average. A feeble little mongrel who was made into a Denton.
You're starting to hurt my feelings.
JC and Paul Denton never escaped their original programming. They instead succeeded only in making copies of themselves. Without realizing it, they worked to build the precise society envisioned by the Illuminati and its defunct offshoot, MJ-12. A population configured for transparency, integration, control. Follow me?
Interesting theory. What is it you want from me?
A sympathetic ear for now. Believe me, child of the City of Destruction. The last days of humankind may be at hand. Help me when I call on you, and I will have no need to destroy more cities. Only one Apostle Corps facility remains, and I simply need the device JC Denton has assembled there.
Shall we go? I will be your pilot until we reach Liberty Island.
How will JC get there?
JC Denton is already there, in a manner of speaking. He will be preparing the systems necessary for the Great Advance while we are in Cairo.
Advance?
JC does not use the word advance. This notion is present in my original programming, as constructed by Tracer Tong in the 2040s.
What good are socio-political notions to a pilot drone?
You will have to ask Mr. Tong. Shall we go?
I'm ready.
Get some rest. Cairo is not as friendly as it was when you left it.
How's it going?
Hey there.
Both of us are targets here. We will work separately until the final phase of the operation.
What do you expect me to do?
You will infiltrate the new Cairo arcology. I will do the same and join you prior to the assault.
If anyone's a glaring target for Templar Paladins, it's a biomodified commando like yourself.
Then we agree to maintain the minimal threat profile until the crucial moment.
What if I'd rather work alone?
Our orders are to work together. We will destroy Paul Denton and return biomod technology to international regulation.
Tell Dumier he's gonna have to look for an assassin somewhere else.
My orders encompass that contingency as well. Engaging in combat.
I'll take that as a slap in the face. Don't be a fool, Alex. Do you really think that the dentons will have any use for you once the technology is imposed on humanity? It will be a nanite plague worse than the one in Cairo, and you will be responsible.
It seems that the Illuminati is making one last grab for power. You must revive Paul, Alex. Apostle Corps needs a strong leader who can restore it to global prominence. The Illuminati only want to steal our research to increase their wealth and power.
I just need one little drop of blood from the tip of your finger.
What's the sample for?
A good cause. Let me see your finger.
Go to hell.
Then we will take your blood by force.
I think that's enough. What goes there? Where did that little freak sneak off to?
Whoever disabled it cannot have gotten far. Huh? What? Purity will prevail!
Do I know you?
Welcome back. I just revived your brother JC in Antarctica. Tracer Tong is coordinating with him from Germany.
You look like one of the test subjects.
Alex Denton. JC said I was one of the MJ-12 experiments.
Of course, Alex. Sorry, they say the brain freeze snaps off a few dendrites. So it's time. Your biomod architecture, it's universal? That's what reversed my coma?
Yes. JC wants you to meet him at Liberty Island. It won't be easy leaving New Cairo, though. The Templars have seized the arcology.
Don't worry about me. I didn't just come back from the dead to get killed hours before the big event. Join us at the statue. As MJ-12 used us, we've used you. But the commodification of ability is about to end.
Well done, Alex. Paul will join me on Liberty Island. I've constructed a machine that will populate the atmosphere with the particles that make up our biomod architecture. I may need your help against the force of Templars that has intervened. More when you arrive. Contact your pilot with the Flybay 23 beacon. Don't worry about Paul. I will arrange for his extraction.
Now that I've activated what's left of Apostle Corps, what sort of future are you trying to bring about? I've heard JC's version.
It probably sounds like a lot of high-minded bullshit to an outsider. My thoughts exactly when JC started speaking in tongues after the merger, but the logic is compelling if you give it time.
How so?
If you want to even out the social order, you have to change the nature of power itself, right? And what creates power? Wealth, physical strength, legislation? Maybe. But none of those is the root principle of power.
I'm listening.
Ability. Ability is the ideal that drives the modern state. It's a synonym for one's worth, one's social reach, one's election in the biblical sense. And it's the ideal that needs to be changed if people are to begin living as equals.
And you think you can equalize human ability with biomods?
The commodification of ability, tuition of course, but increasingly genetic treatments, cybernetic protocols, now biomods, has had the side effect of creating a self-perpetuating aristocracy in all advanced societies. When ability becomes a public resource, what will distinguish people will be what they do with it. Intention, dedication, integrity, the qualities we would choose as the bedrock of the social order.
Well done, Alex. Paul will join me on Liberty Island. I've constructed a machine that will populate the atmosphere with the particles that make up our biomod architecture. I may need your help against the force of Templars that is intervened. Or when you arrive, contact your pilot with the Flybay 23 beacon. Don't worry about Paul. I will arrange for his extraction.
Fine, go your own way. But don't think I'm going to ignore a threat to the world I brought back from ashes 20 years ago. The collapse was the work of your good brother, J.C. Denton, remember? My commandos will be waiting for you on Liberty Island, and so will I.
The profit motive serves society well, but our technology has advanced far enough. It's time to make intelligent use of what we've already created. The last century was ruled by progress and novelty for their own sake. This one has a chance to be ruled by purpose. Right now, the name J.C. Denton is a synonym for the collapse. In the end, though, the period of history he has set in motion will be seen as the Second Enlightenment. There was a time when the details of governmental structure inspired lofty debates. The empowerment of the judicial branch in the United States, an independent legislature, an elected executive, all the innovations that were eventually taken for granted by our ancestors. You memorized the phrase separation of powers in school, but in the beginning, no one was exactly sure how to pull it off. Political thinkers of the Enlightenment were building a clockwork. We need to assemble a genome. Meet us in New York. Help us replace the social mechanism with a social organism, one that is self-aware and can consciously evolve. Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. Go. History is waiting to be made.
J.C. Denton is ready for your help. Without you, the procedure cannot work.
What procedure?
He needs to upgrade the Helios core by merging it with your systems. With access to a living host, Helios will be able to regulate the planet-wide distribution of the biomod architecture.
So I'm going to be merged with Helios just like JC is?
Every person on Earth will be merged to one degree or another.
Let's go.
You have proven to be a great ally, Alex. JC looks forward to opening a new era in human history with you by his side. I cannot watch over you anymore because I am needed elsewhere. Here is a map of the island. Good luck, Alex.
Alex, Paula's already joined me inside the statue. Before my machine will work, however, we need the Aquinas protocol specification from a computer on the lower level of UNATCO. Yes, the machine taps into MJ-12's old network, but this time the network will be a tool for everyone.
It's hard to believe that our hard work is nearly done.
Are you sure we can trust JC, even after the merger in Antarctica? Have you looked around? All he's done, I have to wonder about his sanity.
This is what we've been working toward ever since I uncovered the truth about UNATCO and MJ-12, even if I didn't realize it at the time. I trust his vision.
He intends to give every human being a nanite infusion. That doesn't seem drastic to you?
His vision isn't easy to comprehend because he's operating on a higher level now. We just have to trust his wisdom, and soon we'll all share in it. Just imagine how communication will change when every mind is linked together with light-speed transmissions. JC Helios AI will be the new government, responsive to every need, large and small. No more waiting for the petty arguments and posturing to corrupt human beings. No more caprice in determining the course of human affairs. The new era will be one of true equality. Everything leading up to this, all the work and sacrifice, has been well worth as soon as you and JC share your abilities with the world. Each person's true potential will be able to shine through now, no longer burdened by physical limitations. Every voice will be heard. It won't matter who or where you are. The stratification of influence will fade away. And they don't even know it's coming, that something historic is about to happen to each and every one of them. And they don't even know it's coming, that something historic...
My brother arrived safely. Thank you again.
Your enemies have occupied the island.
I have no enemies, merely topographies of ignorance. The people drift aimlessly, collecting into clans, wherever they find a glimmer of knowledge.
You don't sound worried.
You're wasting time. I want you to locate the Aquinas specification inside UNATCO. When Helios has recovered its hub privileges, you'll step into the infusion chamber, and the nanites in your body will be replicated in the air and ultimately in the bloodstreams of every last human being. In this act, the geography of human thinking will be leveled. Every mind will be part of a continuum. Trust me, misunderstanding, ignorance, the charade of warring ideologies, or in any form, all are already historical footnotes. Before the collapse, Helios was the entity that managed the Aquinas network. The AI was created by MJ-12 to track every electronic transmission on the planet. Under my guidance, Helios has restructured itself to synthesize and redistribute information freely. It will become the collective consciousness of the human race. The only honest form of government is one that responds to the opinions of the people every second of the day. Time is short. You need to locate the Aquinas specification files under the UNATCO ruins and transmit them to Helios. Representative democracy was sluggish and prone to corruption, the result of the technological limitations of previous centuries. Politicians existed only because determining the will of the people was a tedious and time-consuming process. One vote every couple of years was the most input any government asked of its people. The only honest form of government is one that responds to the opinions of the people every second of the day. Enough talk. We both have work to do. Enough talk. We both have work to do.
Alex, I'm on the North Dock. Come see me.
Why aren't you at the statue with JC?
I can't leave these bots unattended, or they might fall into the hands of one of our enemies.
Are their legs frozen or something?
The bots are fine. It's cracked processors in the housing units that have prevented me from bringing them online. JC warned me that the eutectic nature of the statue reconstruction would require him to drop the temperature. But this is quite extraordinary.
How's he able to control the weather?
You can do it with a nanite swell. The particles absorb kinetic energy, which is then emitted as light. By the time I arrived, though, the glow had subsided, so our choppers had no warning and crossed into the zone too quickly.
Can the housing units be repaired?
Yes, it's a simple repair. I just seem to have left Trio without any multi-tools.
Good work. Now I will take action.
What are you going to do?
You've seen more of the island than I have. Where do you think the bots will do the most good?
The safest option would be to consolidate JC's defenses around the statue.
Good advice. The important thing is to protect the interface to Helios and the Aquinas network.
Exactly.
Then it will be time for you to do your part, Alex. Everything depends on you. I programmed these units myself. It isn't often that a man finds a cause worth dying for. No matter what happens to me, the aspirations of Apostle Corps will live on. I've made sure of that. Stand by us, Alex. It isn't often that a man finds a cause worth dying for.
You don't impress me. Second thought. Weird.
What can you tell me about this place?
What's to tell? It's where I live. 15 years now. I was the first one to show up. Guess it was abandoned during the collapse. I don't know what's going on out there, but this is my home, and I'm equipped for a fight if it comes to that.
Yeah? What kind of equipment do you have?
Just some things I scavenged from a couple of thugs a while back. You at the raiding party or something? I guess you've been pretty good about avoiding my people so far. I'm selling some of the stuff if you're interested. Want to do business?
Maybe.
Okay. You're marked, man! Hey! Hear that?
All yours, killer.
Help me out! This is B!
Specification with us. We offer you your humanity, whereas he can give you nothing but a machine simulation of humanity.
Hello? That's enough.
I'm cooked!
Now you'll see death.
Prepare to meet
You will contaminate humanity before you feed. Enough is enough. Purity will prevail. A small price for the sake of...
It's not too late to avoid another collapse. Transmit the Aquinas specification to the WTO orbiting science platform Ophelia. Most of humanity wants to be bailed, Alex. Ignore them, and what are you fighting for? Not freedom, not democracy. Then what?
These machines were built before you were born. Would you like some help figuring them out?
I can manage.
I remember a time when they were operational. They were the backbone of pre-collapse society.
And they called it Aquinas. That's about all I need to know.
No one knew that name. By the 2050s, communications protocols had become successively more comprehensive and classified, until there was only one protocol, synonymous with all economic activity, yet managed by a very small group of people.
Didn't you get the message when I rescued Paul? If I bring the system up, it won't be for the Templars.
I am the only world leader who would use this network against machine evolution. Please, nothing but obsolescence awaits humanity if we go back to microsecond economics. Revive Aquinas and assign hub privileges to our computing center in Munich.
I'll think about it.
Do this for the Templars, then help us reconfigure JC's contraption to disperse a nanite capsid predator, and we will end the plague of biomodification once and for all.
It's not too late to avoid another collapse. Transmit the Aquinas specification to the WTO orbiting science platform Ophelia. Most of humanity wants to be bailed, Alex. Ignore them, and what are you fighting for? Not freedom, not democracy. Then what?
You're clear. Now come to the statue. I need a direct interface with your biomodifications in order to structure Helios properly. To be the center of a civilization, an electronic mind must mirror the intelligences of the citizens. We will be the models.
Sound engaging in combat. You will regret this.
Irredeemable. You're absolutely irredeemable. Prepare yourself for the grave.
Last warning. Go about your business. Behavior heuristic unacceptable.
I programmed these units myself.
JC.
Great work. The JC Helios AI is already integrated in the Aquinas protocol. Soon everyone will share the Anakin's courses. You're about to become the final catalyst for the next evolution of humankind. Everything leading up to this, all the work and sacrifice, has been well worth it. There will be an end to hierarchy as soon as you and JC share your abilities with the world. Each person's true potential will be able to shine through now, no longer burdened by physical limitations. Every voice will be heard. It won't matter who or...
Step into the chamber. It's time. With this act, the geography of human thinking will be leveled. Every mind will be part of a continuum. Trust me, misunderstanding, ignorance, the charade of warring ideologies, or in any form, all are already historical footnotes. Helios is ready. Think of it. Billions of perfect beings in instant communication with each other. We're going to change what it means to be a human being. Representative democracy was sluggish and prone to corruption, the result of the technological limitations of previous centuries.
Helios will speak. Year of our Union, 125. Our consensus remains clear. Yes, we will prolong this second century of peace. Economic automation is complete. Our research will now encompass other frontiers. Yes, this is the consensus we have created. Our unity will soon be absolute. The remaining boundaries are vanishing. Yes, share your mind with everyone. Open yourself. Your needs are the needs of all. Let us understand and be transformed. Yes, transform each other and transform yourselves. The only frontier that has ever existed is the self. Helios has spoken.